Welcome back to Curt Mallory's weekly press conference as Indiana State is preparing to go on the road to take on the South Dakota State Jackrabbits. South Dakota State is coming off a loss to number one North Dakota State in the battle for the Dakota marker. Lost to number one North Dakota State 21-17. Indiana State is coming off an opening loss in the Missouri Valley Football Conference to number 21 UNI 33-0 at Memorial Stadium last Thursday. And Coach, I'll just open it up to you just with an opening statement recapping the loss to Northern Iowa and previewing the opportunity you have this weekend in Brookings, South Dakota.
Well, as we talk every week, our main emphasis is get better from week 4 to week 5. We felt like we made some progress. Score didn't indicate it, but there was, it was all 3 phases of the game. Our offense having the ability to move it at times and stalling out drives. I thought there were some positive things there early on, especially, at half. Felt we had our opportunities, but yet came up short and stalled on some drives. Special teams wise, it's about field position. We do something really good, and then we make a penalty. It just kills us, puts our offense in a bad position, having to go to long field rather than the short field. And then defensively, I thought going in a half, they gave us an opportunity to be in the game, being 9-0, holding our opponent to field goals. A year ago, it would have been 21-0 rather than 9-0. But gave us an opportunity to still be in the game. But it's not about sticking together because this team is a very close-knit group. It's about coming together. It's about coming together as all 3 phases and playing as one.
You talked about this after the game. I know I'm not saying anything that's new, but how critical were the penalties more so just because when they came during the game?
Well, that's part of football. They surely penalties never come at a good time. But that's part of it. It's easy to look at that and think that's the reason. It's about the execution. We had plays, we had opportunities, and didn't make them. There were some plays here and there we make, and we're okay. But certainly the penalties take into effect. But never are we going to point that as the reason why we're not able to do what we're capable of doing. We'll get back to it. Those penalties will get cleaned up. When you watch them on film, we clearly held or we clearly did this, and so we've got to be better with our technique and our fundamentals, which we will be and will continue to harp on.
Not to make you repeat yourself, but did you feel when you watched the film that those penalties were things that were correctable, not necessarily things that you felt could be out of your control?
Well, I think when you watch the film, you see a defense flying around, playing hard, and that has never been the case defensively. The groups playing hard together, not always playing smart. But we've got to continue to do that. Kids are giving great effort. Learn from their mistakes, not repeating the mistakes, and it's the same thing on offensively. Kids are playing hard, blocking well. A year ago, I didn't think we were strong enough to hang on blocks. We're able to sustain blocks, keep blocks, playing hard, not always playing smart, and that comes into the penalty part of it too. But we'll certainly get back to work, move on. We're not a group that's going to sit here and say, you had penalties here, and feel sorry for one another. It's time to get back to work and get on to the next opponent.
Offensively, what did you feel was the biggest reason? I mean, give credit to UNI. They're a really good team, always strong defensively. But what did you feel necessarily the offense wasn't able to click like they did the last time you took the field against Eastern Illinois?
Well, I think, he showed signs of some good runs. Maybe the consistency wasn't there. I think where it really showed up was when you needed a yard, needed 2 yards. Not when it was 2nd and 10 or what have you, and we're getting chunks of 6 and 7. It was when, all right, we're lining up, we need to get a yard, we need to get 2 yards. And that was a disappointing thing that we weren't able to get a yard or get 2 or get 3 or what have you. But it wasn't, never felt like we were getting pushed back. I thought there were some good collisions, good fights, good battles up front. And, I think the consistency of it went their way.
How much, all in all, did you feel your team closed the gap? Of course, you guys head into each and every game to win it, not just playing close. That's not the goal here. Your goal is to win football games. Understanding that, you wanted to see how your team would close that gap from a year ago to this year. There's still a ways to go, but where do you feel your team has been able to close that gap?
Well, we wanted the result to come out to be a lot closer than it was. At the end of the day, it was 33-0, and you can't make anything positive out of the score. It's 33 points, and you had 0 on our end. But we can build on some things that were good. We've got 7 games left, and we're gonna get better as we felt like we've gotten better each and every week. We'll continue to do so. We got a good group of seniors, got a great group of players on our team, and we're gonna stick together, which has never been the case, and get back to work today.
It was the case a year ago where I think off the top of my head we had 6 straight games against ranked opponents. This league obviously is really good and stacked. When you look at the South Dakota State team, in your time here, I know it's only been not even 2 years yet. Of course, North Dakota State is off our schedule this year, but they were extremely competitive with North Dakota State over the weekend. That game could have gone either way in the Fargo Dome. How good is this South Dakota State team you're going to see on Saturday?
Well, we didn't face them last year. Saw them on a lot of crossover games. They're extremely well coached, very well disciplined. They're tough, physical group, led by an All-American linebacker and an All-American quarterback, and 2 probably of the better players in our conference. One on one side of the ball, one on the other. And then he surrounds himself with a really good cast of good football players. But very well coached. You see that when they play, they don't beat themselves penalty-wise, very few penalties. They just line up and they do what they do, and they do it extremely well.
When you look at what they've been able to do offensively this year, one of your strengths has been on the defensive side of the ball. You said earlier in your press conference you may not necessarily think they play smart all the time, trying to learn that as you go throughout the season, but they always play hard.
Yep.
When you go up a team that's going to spread it out, that airs it out as much as they do, they can run it as well. They've been so dynamic offensively. What are really the keys for your group defensively this week to do what you did a week ago, which was give your offense ample opportunities to try to score the football as well?
Well, I think, starting offensively, the obvious is we got to score points. But we got to sustain drives, the consistency that we've had at times, get back to that, making the plays, seeing the opportunities. I look at Coach Ryan Boyle. I mean, he's a young man that's going to see the things and how close we were at times and some of the throws that were there. I've seen Ryan do those, make those throws, make those reads. I've seen our running backs run the way that they've done this year, and our offensive line. So there's not a concern there. We got to get out and get back to doing that. And then defensively, having the ability to not give up the big play, making the offense earn them. A year ago, you had I can't even begin to tell you how many big plays we had. It was 40-yard chunks, 50-yard chunks, 60-yard chunks. And to be impatient, to keeping the ball in front of us, to keeping the ball cupped, tackling, those are the things that sound like basic fundamentals, but those are things that we stress every day, and it's going to be a big part of this week.
My final question to you, Coach. You mentioned earlier that your message to your team after UNI, when I asked you, was not stick together. That was your message time and time again a year ago. Why is that a message that you don't have to preach to this group? And why, even though you put a lot into that UNI game, everybody felt that was a game that you guys realistically could win, didn't get it done, but why is this group going to continue to come back and live to fight another day for this game opportunity against South Dakota State, but also knowing it's a long season ahead?
Well, I spend a lot of time going in and out of meetings, position meetings. Maybe not always spend my time in one meeting over the other, but getting around the players and seeing what a close-knit group they are. The fact that they're together is obvious. You see that in the way they care about one another, the way they work together. We got guys that are injured in watching film so they can help the other guy, and that's a team. When you have guys that aren't going to play this week, but yet are in there studying film so they can help their teammates, that's a close-knit group. That's a group that's together. When we talk about coming together, it's about coming together as one. Because one side of the ball has got to help the other side of the ball. It's not always going to go everyone's way in picking each other up. And that's what you saw at Eastern Illinois. You saw they're able to get down the field, score a touchdown, and the offense, answers the bell. They have a kick return. Well, our kick return answers the bell, and that's coming together as a team. And we'll do that. I'm not even concerned about that. We'll keep working forward, and we're excited to get started and have a great opportunity to win the next one.
Coach, appreciate the time. We'll catch up with you next week.
All right, thank you.